So now I would like to talk a little bit about our new access control mechanism. So as we are here on this page, let's click on the ACL, the access control list of the San Carlos group. So this access control list allows the administrator to set certain rights for a particular role that can then to which users can then be assigned. So if we go to our user module right now, we have a role list, right? So this role, we can configure what a user with this role will be able to do. So right now, the user that will get this role can't do pretty much anything, right? It has no right assigned. So let's assign dashboard, so the user can see dashboard, for example, and let's assign create group. So that's just an example. So we just modified the role. Right. So let's imagine that now we want the user in this role to be able to modify configuration of a client or read a configuration of a client. So I'll first explain how it worked before, even though some of our existing customers that are watching this right now are probably familiar with the process. So how it worked before. So let's imagine I wanted the clients in San Carlos group to have a read write. So what I would have to do is to set a read write on San Carlos group, of course, but if San Francisco office group, which is a parent of the San Carlos group, wouldn't have a read write set as well, the San Carlos group wouldn't be even visible. So that was the biggest problem, because the administrators, in order to set rights on some nested groups, would have to do it from top to the bottom, because if there were no rights assigned, the user would not see pretty much anything. So the tree simply wouldn't appear. If we had all of our groups in my devices, and my devices wouldn't have the read write, the user would see pretty much nothing on the left side here. So the other thing is that we only allowed to set the rights on a group level. So where I'm here right now, so I could only allow to provide read, write, and no inheritance right, which we now deprecated, and we replaced it with what I'm about to show you here right now. So here's how it goes. Right now, you can not only set the rights on a group level, but you can also change them on the client level. So if you click on the client, you will have the ACL table as well. And of course, this client has a read access because it inherited it from the San Francisco office read, right? The other thing is that we allow to change the settings only for clients of a particular group. So if I want to have a write on the clients, or only the clients of the San Francisco office group, not including other groups that are nested in here, I can do it on the group settings ACL table. So if I now set the write to on, it will be set. And if I go to this client right now, Jetson Nano, that is in the San Francisco office group, and check the ACL, the client has a read and a write because it inherits the read from the group, and it inherits the write from the group settings. If I now go to the San Carlos, check the ACL, as you can see, the group didn't inherit the right because it is set on the group settings of the San Francisco office group. So I know it might sound confusing, but I'm pretty sure you will understand what I mean once you give it a try. But okay, we have this test role created right now, but we have no user who is using this role. So let's create a user. Let's just keep it simple as we did before. Test user, password, admin. Let's assign this user a role, test role. If we now save it and log out, so we have the user created. The user has a role of test role right here. We can see it. So if we now log out and try to log in with the test user credentials, here's what happens. So we set the read-write on the San Francisco office group. So now the user can see the name of the group, and if he clicks on it, he can see the configuration of the group. And it's denoted by this little R symbol, which of course means read. But if you remember, we set the write on the group settings of the San Francisco office group. And of course, we now have access to the group settings of the San Francisco office group, and we have the write privileges here. And if we go to any client that's directly assigned to the San Francisco office group, we also have write privileges. It will not happen on the San Carlos group, which is nested in San Francisco office, because it inherits its configuration from its parent group, so San Francisco office. So now you might wonder, what are the other folders here? Of course, those are the other groups that we didn't assign any rights to. So if the user with the test role that we created now tries to access it, he gets information, access denied. There are no rights assigned, so it is not possible for the user to do anything here. Of course, this mechanism provides much more capabilities in regards to granularity. So we are in control. We can. So what wasn't possible before, for example, is to create a user that can modify a configuration of only one client. I mean, it was possible, but what we would have to do was to create a separate group for this particular user and provide write privileges on this group. Right now, we don't have to do that. So for example, let's take a look again at San Carlos group. This group has read rights. And of course, all clients that are directly in the San Francisco office group have write rights. So let's reset that. Let's remember that this client in San Carlos group has read write. So let's log in with our main administrator account again. Let's go to my devices, San Francisco office, ACL read. Let's go to group settings and let's clear the write privileges. So now all those clients should have the read privileges again. And now we remember that this client in San Carlos group has read privileges as well. So let's imagine I want a user that only controls this one client in San Carlos. So we just go here, click on the client, go to ACL, click on write, and this client, this client will now have write privileges for the test role. So if we log out, test user, and as you can see, you cannot access, you cannot change the configuration of any of the clients that are in San Francisco office, and you cannot change the configuration of San Carlos. But if you click on the client that we gave the right privilege, you can modify it. And of course, this can be changed in any way we want. So if I, for example, want this San Francisco office group, right? The San Francisco office group to have write privileges, but then I don't want the San Carlos group to have write privileges. I can definitely do that as well. So let me show you. So let's go to San Carlos. Let's check this client again. Let's clear this setting. So if I now, instead of giving it a read privilege, I give it a write privilege, but I don't want any of the clients to have write privileges in San Carlos group, I can override it. So it inherits the privilege from its parent group, it's on, but if I change it, there's no privilege, it clears it out. And if I now log out and log in with the test user credentials again, as you can see, we have write privileges on any of the clients of San Francisco office, on the San Francisco office itself, but we cannot do anything on the San Carlos office, which we don't even know that it is San Carlos office if nobody gave us the privilege here.